Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to another episode of Konya mo Takamario. Yay, we are here with episode 44 to bring you the latest in Hello Pro news over the past, since whenever we had our last episode.
Long ago.
Long time ago. In the studio this week, we have first off, the amazing Turbo76 from everywhere.
Hi!
We have the also almost as amazing and almost from everywhere but not so much, Invis.
Lady Kaki Day! Happy Kudo Day!
Yes. And we have the always special Ouroboros.
Special in quotes.
Special in quotes.
Good evening.
And the very angry Bex.
I just want to say that my avatar is like, look at these three noobs before me with their stupid pictures.
Hello!
So, if you've noticed, yes, today is our special Haru Day celebration. And that's why we have so many different directions of Haru to celebrate in.
Because she's great no matter which direction she's pointing.
Yeah, she's...
I obviously don't celebrate.
Yeah. It's only for certain special people to celebrate Haru Day.
Haru Day.
But with that, let's move on to some headline news.
Yay!
Delayed soundtrack this time. To
Oops.
get our sound manager on it.
Yeah, well, we had price cuts. Budget
yeah.
cuts.
We lost
We've
our
also
budget from last
we actually
time.
lost our studio because of
Yeah. Last week.
Yeah.
Oh, last show.
last show.
I never
so
actually saw the studio. It sucks.
it's because you don't celebrate Haru Day.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, anyways,
Lesson learned.
some news for you this week. In a blog post from actually last week, so it's a little bit late, but that's okay.
Oh!
Yes.
Not news.
Close enough. The Bears.
Recent!
Yeah, close enough. Whatever. The Bears chief manager has been swapped with someone else, and so this may be a big deal if you're a hardcore Bears fan. For most of you, it does not make a difference at all. It's just something to keep in mind that they do swap managers every now and then, but for the chief manager to get swapped, maybe there'll be some changes sometime soon. Probably not, but we'll see.
No.
Carrying into berries.
Good.
Yeah. And on the news of managers, Mimi blogged earlier this week on the Agree blog, and she said that she had switched back to... Oh crap, I can't remember if it actually was Mimi. I hope it is. The story might be completely wrong, but from my memory, I think it was Mimi. And
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. It was someone. And she fell asleep on her phone, and when she woke up the next morning, she found out that she had like rolled over in her sleep and accidentally called up her manager.
Nice.
But not the current manager, is one of the older managers that got swapped out, so it's no longer a manager of Cute. And then the random person the manager was like saying hello on the phone, and that like woke up Mimi, or I think Mimi, I can't remember anymore.
Okay.
So that's a good manager story for you guys if you happen to see Mimi anytime soon. Or if it's not Mimi and I'm wrong, then just tell Mimi anyway, she probably will think it's her.
Okay.
And then on another related
Don't fall
news...
asleep with your phone!
Yeah. Also from Cute, we have Heidi announcing on her blog that she has now switched to an iPhone.
Boo.
Sadly. Yes.
That
Shock.
sucks.
It does suck. But she's really excited about it, and
We're not.
hopefully Chiso will break it, and then she'll switch to something else.
She's helping
Yeah.
sit on it.
Yeah. Last news to round up our headline news. All of the various members now have Amoeba blogs, so they are all caught up to Captain, and
I don't think they started using it yet, have
I
they?
don't think they have either. I haven't checked. I don't really know.
Let's see.
We're
Nope,
all too
still blank.
lazy.
But
Still
they have
blank.
registered the account, and they all have that UFA blog link thing on it.
Oh,
So-
wait.
They don't have
Oh,
banners
oh.
or anything yet?
Oh, they're using it now.
Oh, they are? Okay. So go
Some
check
of
that
them.
out.
Some of them. Oh, Mia. Okay.
Right.
Is this a live update? They're using it as we speak.
That's
We
they're
about
using
8
it just
hours
because
ago.
they know we've started the show. So
8 hours ago.
It's called free promotion.
yeah, we do have a connection with UFA actually.
Yeah.
Specifically
Everything free,
for the show.
obviously.
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
for
we
that
don't spend
awesome.
any money on it on this development.
Mia posted her shoe size on her blog.
Oh, she's copying
that's
the
a
Reina
hint.
style.
That's a
Yeah,
hint that
just
she
taking
wants
lessons.
shoes as presents.
Yeah.
Yep.
So everyone go buy Mia some shoes.
Okay.
Right, let's move on to the main discussion topics.
Metal ones, U-shaped. Metal ones.
Let's see. We're gonna start off actually with a listener question because Senryo actually got an email this week, which is scary. This seems to be a reoccurring thing now, which we're not used to, so we're not sure how to handle this. But he unfortunately cannot be here today, so we will answer it on his behalf. The email comes from Davey, and the first part of his question says, "Hello, Davey again. I'm not sure if there will be a podcast today, but there will be. But I'll send this email anyway, and hope it will be read during the podcast. Anyway, I want to know if the Takamaro crew is enjoying the sudden cut-in push. She's been popping up in videos, introducing songs, dancing with Okai.
What? Oh.
Team Okai.
All right.
But yeah. And backup dancing on the Smilage tour. She mentioned on her blog that to perform the Eggs' original song. Does anyone have any clue why? She must be cracking eggs left and right to be the top.
Cracking eggs.
Maybe she'll be the Gotomaki of Smilage.
What?
So that means like an ace of a dead group or something.
Okie doke.
But that does relate to our first topic, coincidentally, which we have an interview with Tsunku from Top Yell magazine. And so in this magazine, he talks about a bunch of different things, but one interesting topic, or rather a short bit that interests us anyways, is that he has a specific part in the interview where he says the following. He says that over the past few years, he's been pretty much working on trying to set up Morning Musume and stabilize Smilage to the point where they can kind of stand on their own. And now he feels like he's gotten to that point where he can kind of put that on the back burner a little bit and focus on something else now, and he doesn't have to put all his attention on Morning Musume and Smilage anymore. Because of that, for the next 1 or 2 years, he will be focusing on the Hello Pro eggs, or the Hello Pro trainees, and he's going to be trying to finish this Hello Egg project that he started however many years ago. And at the end, he also says this includes the creation of new units. So this interview, when it came out, started a huge buzz on the internet because a lot of people were like, "What does that mean?" Like, it's really hard to translate this phrase in English, but essentially, completing. That's kind of the closest thing we can get. It's a poor translation. I apologize, but completing what the Hello Pro Eggs project was meant to be. And so a lot of people are debating online, does this mean like he's going to switch to something else? Is he going to graduate people? Everyone's going to move on? Is everyone going to like go into some up girls style thing? No one knows. Like, what does that mean? Because there's still a lot of eggs, and they're still taking new people every year, almost every year. And there, I mean. And now we recently see with the new Kanojo ni Naritai egg single, you don't necessarily have to be an official group separate from the eggs to have your own single now, even though it's still an indie single, but it's still, I mean, they have their own CD and everything, and it's on sale. So let me open this question up to you guys. Like, what do you think Tsunku is referring to in this article? Or what do you think his plans are?
Karen!
That
of course.
is the correct answer, yeah. Would you care to elaborate?
I think he's going to start maybe a permanent unit, maybe a couple of temporary ones, just to try the water out with different combinations of members. That's what I think I'll see.
Do you think Karen will be related in all of those groups?
Well, it'd be stupid not to, but well, no. I mean, hopefully, Karen will be put in a permanent unit, and they may juggle around, with a few of the other solid members, and might juggle a couple of temporary units of the less solid members, and see who does better to maybe go in as maybe a second gen of this new unit or something similar.
Okay, very fair. Anyone else have any thoughts?
I think it's. I don't know. I think it's just he's just saying stuff that's already been happening for a long time. Tsunku always have things going on or projects he's trying to do. This isn't anything new. It's just making it into something by saying it.
So it's just kind of like hype up nothing new, and he's already been doing this anyways, so it just
Pretty
make it
much, just
sound like
like-
something.
Yeah, the X been purged already. And there's always new X coming, and it's not the first time the X got a single. Remember that long couple of years ago
The Hello
before
Theme.
there was not the key at the tree thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, that thing never went anywhere.
that's true.
Maybe they finally saw it was a failure and actually are gonna stop it, like completely.
The egg
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, the whole egg idea, and just not focus on eggs anymore, and probably just like random auditions instead. Maybe.
That would be interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think about stopping the eggs completely?
Not a good
It
idea.
may be less disappointing for when people end up doing you end up with above girls who are good, but it feels like they never got that focus that they needed. It would stop that, but it would also probably waste a lot of potential too. I mean, we'd be missing out on a lot of people who could grow into,
Yeah,
'cause
but
every time there's an audition, it's always just looking for the person who's almost already ready, rather than somebody who they can build into somebody really well.
Kind of would disagree with that.
so
Sorry, you were gonna say Vex?
I said they're not even using the eggs right now anyway. Well, maybe like 2 or 3 at most,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest is not doing anything. So it seems kind of pointless.
I mean, they get the backup dancer appearance at the HoloCons, and then if they're lucky, they get to be some backups at a solo con. But for the most part, throughout the year, they don't really get much.
To be honest, they're doing more with them than they have been doing recently. I mean, they've got some of them as backup dancers for Smilage. They've got some of them, 1 or 2, doing backup dancing at Morning Musume, apparently.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than they have had in the past, and they've got a single out now.
That's only as of very recently, though. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well maybe
Also,
this is the
Yama
first
appearance-
step of him increasing it all.
Mhm.
I mean, because that word, which is difficult to translate, seems to have about 7 different translations, and a couple of them are very, very positive, like enrichment.
Yeah.
I mean, so it could enrich the eggs, make them better. Perfection as well is another word it can be used for. So
But you're
it's
not gonna
perfect
tell
the
me.
eggs.
You're not gonna tell me that these girls like to just dance. Then they haven't joined to just dance as backup dancers.
No, of course not.
No, but they don't just do dancing. They also do fan club recitals. Now, normally they do a couple a year, but in this last year, there's been a lot more egg concerts than recently. There's September. There's one in September. There's one in October now. This month, there's one in December. They really are pulling all the stops out. It appears to push them forward. We can't see it over here so much, but in the fan club, there's lots of listings of egg stuff going on.
Well, they got to because all the Moveki Master people are getting old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you laugh at it, but it's probably true. I mean, we know how it goes over there.
Yeah.
I mean, to get the eggs into units quickly, ready for when Berries and Cute retire, it'd be a good way of continuing with the whole agency, keeping the groups new and fresh and young.
But so
Seems
that's
to be
the thing,
what they're
though.
after.
I mean, like, it's always like for us, we tend to be heavily biased towards the eggs as a positive thing, but UFA as a whole, it doesn't seem to take advantage of all the eggs that they have to choose from whenever they're taking consideration for members for like new auditions. So, I mean, are they just waiting for that right moment, and all of a sudden, like the next 2-3 generations are pure egg only?
Damn.
Well, perhaps they haven't used the eggs because they're going to put them in a new unit. It might not be a small member unit. It could be a fairly large. I mean, like Berries had 8 members originally, and so
So
Cute.
In egg
So-
48 or something.
Well, There's not.
48.
There's only something like 12 eggs in the whole system now, so that could be 2 6-member units.
Could be.
I guess.
Up, A, and B.
I wonder if fans want that, to be honest, new units.
That's a good question. I mean, like, would you
Fences
guys be
in.
excited for... Well, okay, so it's pretty much a given that whatever unit that Karen's in, you guys will be excited, but for the other unit, would you guys be excited
Well,
for?
Karen, Sayubi, Nanami,
If they're not in that one. The other one.
Hammer-chan, I suppose.
The other one.
The other one.
The other one was
The other one.
unknowns.
Yeah.
Wow.
The other one, like...
I mean,
Taguchi,
eventually people
Kaneko,
get used to
The
it.
leftovers.
the leftovers. Team B.
They could have an egg purge, a voting system, and the ones who get voted the least get kicked out, and the
Oh,
rest of
man.
them start a unit up.
Egg
And that'd be a
election
way of
ballot.
yeah.
Senbatsu. Awesome.
Well, I'm sure if they make a group or something, people will just follow it initially just to see what's up. Like how the Pro kids were initially when
And Smilage. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Smileage
Smilage.
people already know who they were. I mean, fans of the project already knows who those girls are before the group formed, so it's different on that sense.
But one of the things that's really misleading about that is, like, whenever you take an egg out and make it into, like, a major debut, they
Mhm.
always start with, like, a huge interest just because it's, like, brand new, and then it usually dies off really quickly. I mean, I say Smilage is probably the only case where that didn't happen, but it still ended up happening just because of unfortunate circumstances. But,
Mhm.
like, Mono, or I would say, like, even Kika...
It depends on how they hype it up at first.
Right, but no, but I mean, like, they all seem to have like a really strong initial
It's like
start.
the intro time
Yeah.
gives them this popularity, and then the staying power doesn't last.
Right, so that
It's
that
fading
could,
out.
I mean, that could mislead them if they look at from like strictly a financial point of view or something, and then they for the first month or two they're like, oh man, this is such a good idea, keep doing this, and all of a sudden like it crashes again. Like, let's say they run into another Smilage problem, and then they get all scared about trying to do anything else with the eggs in the future. Or, yeah, with the eggs in the future.
Or another mono problem because
yeah,
we don't
or
want
like
those
another
things.
mono problem.
Well, I think the problem with Mano and Kika really is they were promoting them on the wrong thing. I mean, you've got Smilage, they're being promoted on the fact they wear really short skirts and they got nice legs. You've got Mano, she can play a piano and it rhymes with Mano, and that's about it really. And you got Kika who can bend her legs around the back of her ears or something. It's not exactly, those two aren't exactly you don't want to watch them for that. So they need something to entice the people to want to carry on following them.
You're saying you wouldn't stare at the Kika leg thing all day?
Well, once you've seen it a couple of times, it's boring. But good legs and short skirts never go out of fashion.
True.
Very true.
So basically, what you're saying is that they're marketing them wrong. And
Yeah.
whoever's doing the marketing for front needs to die in a fire.
Yay!
Sounds fair. Sounds fair.
Oh,
Yeah.
they need to anyway, so.
Very true. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with if Tsunku's really gonna do anything significant with the eggs, or if this is again just another talk, because
Yeah, he always has something going on anyways.
he does always have something going on, and I don't know. This could be just to try to make whatever he already has in plan sound like more amazing when it happens.
Yeah, and it turns out silly like always.
Could
Yep.
very well be the case. But we do have a part 2 to the listener question that was sent. And here is the bonus question. With Morning Musume's recent single success, do you think if the same promotion was done with the Platinum Era lineup, would it have sold more? Maybe this was discussed already. Sorry if it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was. So
Not exactly, no.
So what do you guys think? The current aggressive promotion of current Momosu's past 2 singles translated into the Platinum Era.
Well, if you think back to Nunchaku Renai, that was the 40th single. They did
Right.
pretty heavy promotion back then as well.
They also had like 50 million versions.
Yeah, so it wasn't
Which is
that
what we're doing now. Same
it wasn't
thing.
that they didn't go all out back then. It was I guess the changes right now with the group as a whole, with all the members going in and out, versus back then it was always the same 9. Even though it was the 40th single, they had nothing to sell on. Versus now, it's Sayu's the leader now, and then we got all these new girls. Then there's stuff to talk about instead of just this is our 40th, and then that's it.
So because there's actually been change now, they actually have
there's
something to talk about.
more things to hype up about, and how they're going for a completely new image versus back then it was just another song of the same thing over and over.
Sure,
I think that plays more into it than just look. We have a huge poster in middle of Shibuya. Big deal.
It's a very big poster, though.
It was a very big poster.
Yeah. But do you think the spending is approximately the same for like the Nanchate era for right now?
Including or excluding the poster?
Including the poster.
Well, the poster is pretty expensive.
Yeah,
to put up for
it's
2 weeks.
Pretty expensive.
Upward of 6-digit figure.
Right, yeah.
US. So yeah, but they have. I'm sure they wouldn't just go and like, let's put a poster there and blow all our budget for this season.
No PV, no special effects, no events, just poster.
Yeah, but the 50th and 51st, they 51st, okay, not whatever, but 50th really means a big deal compared to 40th. So maybe they spend a little bit more this time. I think knowing the results would be way better than. Well, they have lost more selling points, so I guess they're more reassured that they'll get the money back for it.
Did they do the thing where they have the trucks playing the songs driving around for 50-51?
No idea. No idea.
Because it did.
I don't think that stuff makes a difference. Remember back when Mano's first few single, they had those trucks running around.
Yeah.
Like nobody cared.
That's true. Maybe they were
It's
driving.
just something to
along,
notice, I think, when they're driving around. I mean, it's not like a berry bus. As much.
And the trucks are not that expensive.
Really? You think they're not that expensive to
in
run
comparison?
around?
Well, in comparison
okay.
to the big poster.
Yeah.
The big poster.
That
That's
poster.
kind of sad, isn't it?
That's like their ace card. That poster.
But yeah.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It is. Because it's in the middle of that major traffic area. Although the audience isn't really. That's a whole different discussion.
Well, actually, I'm surprised. Like, so in that little center, there's also that giant LCD screen that plays music videos. I'm surprised they didn't lock up some time to play the PV on that.
I think they only can afford one thing.
Well, I would trade the poster and go with the LCD thing because it actually has sound and stuff on it.
Well, it's not like they're Johnnies.
Wait, but
Sure.
somebody blog posted something about that, didn't they? Were they in? Oh, was that in Akiba or Shibuya? I remember somebody blogging about that where they had taken a picture, one of the 9th and the 10th gen, I think maybe. And they were like, "Look, it's our PV," and it was a screen.
Oh, was it? I don't remember.
It might have been in Akiba though, not Shibuya. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, there's so much.
I just
noise in
remember
Japan
it
anyways.
being on a screen, a video screen, and somebody taking a picture of it.
That would
Oh.
be interesting.
Hmm.
We'll have to check that after this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts on this spending? Yeah.
Well, personally, I don't think it would have either. Because, once again, it comes down to age. With idols, younger idols sell more than older idols on the whole. So, I mean, because that's where the target audience is. And the Platinum era were too old, really, to be honest. They had a lot more talent, I'll give them that. The songs were sung better, obviously. But it doesn't grip the audience so much as having a bunch of cuties dancing around and singing.
So
It's all in the eye candy, you see.
So really, it's just age, regardless of any other factor. It just comes
Well,
down to
because it's obviously not down to talent, is it?
right.
Because otherwise Ai-chan would have sold millions. Because she's a damn good singer. So there has to be another factor. And it's not looks, obviously, and age, and dancing ability. And the only thing left is age. I don't want to say age. You know what I mean? As in older age. Yeah, it's not the oldness and the skill which seems to sell the records.
That's the freshness.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
UFA.
Say again.
I don't think it's just UFA. I think that's the world in general. I mean, everything runs through that cycle of, oh, this is old, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
That's why Apple makes so much money.
Yeah, and basically
Wait.
with the 9th and 10th gen, Morning Musume has completely changed. You got a couple of the old members on to keep the new ones in line, but the vast majority of them are brand new to the public out there, so it's almost like a brand new group.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So then they really should just keep up. They're gonna have to constantly keep on changing then, if they want to keep up whatever momentum they built up till now.
Wouldn't
Yeah, they
surprise me.
can't. Yeah, they can't be just satisfied. Oh, this works, and just keep doing it.
Mhm.
I think upfront, we're getting better at that now, compared to a year or two before. How when they find one thing that works, they keep doing it.
So then, do you think we're gonna go back to kind of how Momusu was originally, say the first 5-6 generations, and no more like several years in a row without an audition?
Yeah, it's got to be more movement instead of 2 year whole thing stabilized, or at least they're gonna try to change it up, not just saying the same stuff or have the same image all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I'd personally expect an announcement of maybe Reina and Sayu graduation at the end of the WinterCons coming up soon.
So
No, they won't graduate then, but that'll be the announcement for later in the year.
Awesome. The thing that's
because-
scary about that though is the next gen is so young that like Fuku-chan will take over at like 17.
Yeah, I don't think they can pull it
Yeah.
that low. It'll just cause
That's
problems.
crazy.
The new gens won't be able to carry Morning Musume.
I mean, they're really young.
A lot of them are, yeah. But I mean, that's probably why they've dragged in Oda Sakura. She's she's got a really good voice, so she can do the decent vocals for stuff.
she can hide in the back. Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
see, that's the thing. If you're searching for something like that, where it's like, oh, decent vocals, then what you end up with is somebody who's only that most of the time, though. So
Yeah.
you're running that risk where when you get this, you have one person who can do kind of one thing, and that's it. I mean, you know, you can
But
put
isn't
them in
that
the
the
same
point
press
of
and
having a
everything.
group? So you can spread the job around.
I think there has to be a default level of everybody kind of at the same thing, or else it gets to kind of that awkward point where it's like people standing in the background and then one person dancing, kind of a thing. It has to be a level ground.
But you can't
Actually-
afford it as a group.
so that's a good point. I just noticed we just got a comment from one of our watchers, and he's pointing out that the last stop of the upcoming winter tour is Fukuoka. I suppose, yeah, maybe that would be a good place to announce an upcoming Reina grad.
That's quite sad.
I
Announce it
wouldn't
on
be surprised if
Hotel.
they announce more dates.
Yeah, well, I mean, when is the last date?
Well, I have to look that up.
Oh. Yeah, it's not that important. We'll skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes too long.
Yeah, it takes too long.
Let's see.
Let's move on to the next topic then.
No, last.
But I
last
didn't mean
thing
the
for
Winter Morning Musume tour. I meant the winter
The winter,
Hello-
the HoloCon, right?
cons.
The
Yeah.
HoloCon. Oh, they're gonna announce more dates for sure.
When is the last show?
Oh, actually, no, it looks long.
It's a long tour, the winter one, yeah.
Long tour, huh? I don't know.
It seems to be ending a lot of things in Fukuoka. The cute tour's ending in Fukuoka, and
Maybe it's just cheap.
Reina grad announcement in Cute Tour.
Hey, you heard it here first.
I thought Tokyo is no longer going to be the capital. They were going to move it again.
That would be interesting. Well, they lost all their good venues in Tokyo, so.
Well, the thing with the winter HoloCons is always they get a whole bunch of dates for Nakano-san Plaza during the first few days,
Right.
and then they're gonna continue on to the other more localized venues to end it. So I don't think you should look too much into where it ends.
Yeah, I mean, like in the past, they've always ended some weird. Like they ended in Nagoya a few times as well. So
Yeah, so it's nothing big.
It could be, it might, but probably most likely not.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yep.
We shall see who's right and who's wrong. I hope I'm not right, because I like Money Must May as it is now. Well, before Oda turned up.
You have 2 months. You have 2 more months.
Well, and it's hard. I mean, I expect that when the Reina does come, hopefully the band thing will start, so that it's not going to be awkward.
I mean, I would imagine that when she leaves, it'll correspond with the band starting. It would be weird to have
Or
some
at least
kind
to
of downtime.
have it already started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to kick her out so early,
Mm.
because that would be just a detriment to Momusu, since she brings in a lot of fans. So.
I mean, just point that if we start hearing more news about the band, then the probability goes up.
That's yeah. I mean, when we start to hear like, oh, it's almost ready. We've got 4 out of 5 members or whatever. That's
Yeah.
probably when she's getting close to it. But as of right now, we haven't heard anything from the band actually.
Not
Probably
much,
X.
Maybe.
Tsunku's thingy.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. On that note, let's move on. So earlier this Sunday, the next episode of Black Variety, the Nakai's show, was aired, and this time it featured a VTR from Kudo and Machan for some reason.
Matcha.
Yeah. And this was basically a follow-up video from when Kudo, well actually when Morning Musume made their appearance in their first appearance on Black Variety, and they had all those games going on between the 9th and 10th and all the big time celebrities and comedians. And apparently this one was to kind of have Kudo make up with what's his name? Udo-san?
I don't care.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Techon?
Oh yeah, Techon.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
right. What's his face?
Yeah. And because Kudo almost kicked him in the face last time. So they apparently go to an amusement park, which this is like the same one that Suji and Kago went to, right? For the what's that thing called? The 99 special, comedy special.
Mecha.
Possible.
Couldn't really
Possible.
tell.
I think it was
Yeah.
Michishige, one of those is one of those specials from whatever. That's
Oh, when
too
they
old.
went to the fake Disney?
Yeah, the fake Disney thing. Isn't
Yeah,
it the same?
probably. Probably.
Could be. Yeah. That's a long time ago. I mean,
It
geez.
was
Yeah.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they have the show, and it's more than whatever the original intention of this was. It turned out to be something like Tetchan trying to teach Kudo and Machan the ropes of variety and like how
Yes.
to fake reactions and what's expected of you on camera.
Hmm.
Machan doesn't really get it because she's quite
She's-
literal.
She's Matcha.
She's Machan. Kudo kind of gets the unlucky end of the chopsticks because she has kind of some bad things done to her. And as a whole, I guess it's for the casuals. It probably was really fun to watch.
Mhm.
For the fans, I think it's like a 50-50. It's interesting, but at the same time, like they're still idols, and some of those things like you shouldn't be doing to them. So let me open this to you guys. What did you guys think about when you watched that show?
Hilarious as hell.
Yeah, it was funny. It was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
don't know if that makes it offensive because they had to bend the borders to do it. I mean, a lot of people think that's what the problem is, but
like, not offensive, but I mean it's like the egg thing was kind of gross,
That was funny.
I guess. Well, I mean it was funny, but I don't know. Turbos or Ouroboros?
I loved it. It was a good, really entertaining show. Wasn't
Compared
much
to
on that.
compared to what AKB usually receives on variety shows and other stuff, I think that's very tame.
It is very tame, but then again,
So-
AKB has very different level standards of what they're willing to do in all aspects of being an idol. So
True, but then they also ban what is the definition of idols these days.
very heavily, I would say, yeah.
it's true.
Uh,
I mean, even looking back, if you talk about like the stuff that Momosu would have to do on like Utabans and stuff like that, I mean, they end up yelling kind of out of character and things too, with the cages and
Right.
balloons.
Well, that's the thing though.
and things like
If you're not willing to go all out in this sense, then you're just another idol acting all pretty and cute on TV, and then get easily forgotten.
So it's kind of like you have to do the crazy stuff that
This-
they want to
this
see.
character
in variety.
building.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. For the
Definitely
for the
true.
public
Yeah, I
to-
don't think you can maintain an image. Like if you were all cutesy and pristine, I mean, I guess you'd have an audience, but you wouldn't. It wouldn't be dynamic that way.
But I
Maybe
mean,
that's the problem.
like you see what they're doing, and I mean, most of the stuff on the variety, if you see an idol doing it, it's fake anyways. Except for
Yeah.
when like someone tries to hurt them with some slapstick comedy, and I mean even then that's like partially fake. So
Right.
it's really just kidding yourself into thinking like that's how they actually are, or whatever their character is. But is it just for the sake of seeing it that's still good enough to I don't know, make you a fan or keep you retained as a fan?
I imagine it would be. I mean, just on the sense that it's entertaining, and if you like it, then even if you don't like it because it's their character, you like it because they did it. It's
Mhm.
like acting, you know. At least that's how I would imagine it is. I could be wrong.
wasn't that the point of being on a variety show anyway? To
It is. So it's really awkward whenever you, or for Mamusa in particular, because they have such a very old-fashioned, or at least Sayu has a very old-fashioned definition of what an idol should be. So it's like whenever they go on, you're not really sure what to expect. Like, are they gonna go actual variety style, or are they just gonna stand around and like sometimes when you see them go, or even this goes beyond Mamusa and goes to the other Hello groups as well. Like the comedians will know, or the people on stage, the hostess will know, like not to like touch them or something, or keep their distance or something. So they know that there are certain rules in place for some shows, but at the same time, the other shows they ignore those rules. But I'm sure they're clearly aware of them. So it's like there's two sets of outcomes you can see whenever Hello groups go on variety shows, and it's always interesting to see like which one you're going to get, and then how
Well,
the
it
crowd
also
reacts.
depends on the show and the comedians.
That's really
doing it.
true. Because I mean, from Black Variety, you expect that things are going to get kind of weirdly comedy, like physical comedy at some point.
Mm-hmm.
As compared to like if they go on Music Japan, you're not gonna expect that kind of stuff as much. So
Well, no, like so. But if you look at just the varieties,
just the variety,
just the
shows, not all of
varieties,
the,
yeah.
well, not all the variety shows end up being that physical. I mean, do you count like Log Deca as being a variety show? Because they don't always do something that's like
not
physical
really.
slapstick comedy on that. That's hard for. I know that's hard to classify that one.
Yeah, I
Yes.
wouldn't say Black Deca is more. I mean, if it's a variety, it's on the very mild end of the variety.
Mm.
I mean, because the most they would do is like eat something gross.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Or like,
so-
well,
oh no, go ahead.
I'm trying to think of one that's a good example of a variety show that's kind of more passive. 'Cause
Well,
I know they exist.
it would be like when I can't remember the names of the show, but whenever Momo goes on, sometimes you'll know like some comedians have their act where they're known for like either punching you or trying to like throw you or something, but then
Right.
they'll poke Momo, but they won't like they won't do their same routine as they would do to any other girl on stage or on screen.
They know when to draw a line.
They know when to draw the line. I think even on the very first appearance of Momosu on Black Variety, I'm trying to remember. Wait.
You mean that guy that was a Momokuro friend?
Yeah.
The
He-
no touching thing?
Yeah, the no touching thing. Like, I mean, he tried, but then he never actually did it. So,
Yeah.
and his gag is to actually hug them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's-
I'm sure the management laid down the line before the show starts, the recording starts.
Yeah, I'm sure they kind of arrange that. It's not like they're bending the rules, because that'll just get you like entertainment
trouble.
industry blacklisted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then do you think that management is fully aware of everything that goes on? Like the Kudo egg thing.
Well, they're standing there behind the cameras the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
but-
since that was VTR and it wasn't live.
But yeah, I know. But how do you know? Like what's it called? The act of doing that gag might have been spontaneous because I don't actually know what he was trying to do when he's trying to get Machan to push him. I thought he was trying to get Kudo to like pour the juice on him or something, the soup.
That thing was pre-staged.
You think
But
so?
the egg thing, I think that's kind of a classic comedic act of spitting something really hot out of your mouth into the
Right.
person next to you. So I mean, if that was totally NG in terms of management would see it, then I guess they would have the TV station cut it out. But they didn't, then so it's okay. It's okay.
Very possible. Very possible.
I did want to take the note though that you said that thing about how for Sayu, who has such a classical image of idols, and yet she gets to do that whole poison tongue thing when she's on TV.
Yeah.
That's the weird irony on that.
It's weird. But I think Sayu thinks it's like, as long as it's non-physical, it's okay. So there's no like direct contact or some physical act happening. I mean, I think it seems to be like anything talk-wise is fair game, because she seems to certainly not hold back at all when it comes to talking.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that in Black Variety this week there was a lot of touching
There was, yes.
the
there was.
idols, and one of my friends Farron was commenting on that when we were watching it. He was like, hands off, stop touching. This guy needs to learn to keep his space, to keep his distance from the
Right.
girls.
So I mean that was part of like at least him trying to teach Machan and Kudo the gags though, and that's is that like, does that cross the line or is that part of the show?
Well, during the whole thing, they kept stressing the fact that we're idols, you can't do that, and
Right. But
all that. So,
If that's the case, they should just stop doing TV altogether.
well,
That's
I think
very sad.
that's their character though. They have to keep their idol image, but then they're showing the viewers that they're trying to do that. So I think what people like to see is the borderline stuff.
Okay.
That's kind of true, actually, because I mean, it gives you something to like. Oh, I can be entertained, but I can still be mad at him. Like, the
Right.
fact that people are like, he shouldn't do that. What was that? Whoa! It's that like shock to your system, I think.
So they
Yeah.
need to make a big deal out of it for it to keep your attention.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah,
kind of
if-
what it seems like. Yeah.
If the idols took what he did without without pushing back, then people were like, oh, so you do anything. But if they got angry and pushed back and all that, then that's more entertaining to watch, and I think people like that. And then it still lets them retain their idol image. They know it's viewers know it's an act, the audience know it's an act, but then they still see that the girls are like they have
Resisting.
a limit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
But so, let me ask Bex, our resident AKB fan, like, does it seem like they resist on the varieties? Because I know they go pretty extreme
No.
on their shows as well. But it seems to
don't.
work well for them.
Last show I saw was Michishige, and they got pretty owned by all kinds of wrestling moves and all that stuff. You would probably never see Hello Project do that ever.
And was there any point where they were like pretending they're saying like, don't do that, like we're idols, that's you shouldn't?
Nope.
Interesting.
And it was funny as hell.
I think though that's how just
That's just how it is.
How just Michishige is though. Back when Morning Musume used to go on, they did a lot of things that you wouldn't expect idols to take as well.
Yeah, they do seem to get away with a lot more stuff than the standard group.
It's just
But Okamura, I guess, is that big.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Any last thoughts before we move on to some web reactions of this?
No, let's hit up the web reactions.
Okay. So, really interesting thing that was going on during the Kudo the Black Variety airing. So as kind of standard with all TV shows, idol related, well, also non-idol related, but people when the show airs on TV, they'll be like live tweeting or posting in threads in real time their reactions to kind of how things progress out and to what they see on the show. And so during the show for Black Variety, this particular episode with the Kudo and Machan special, throughout the show there were a ton of these AKB fans, and they were posting things on Twitter, and they were saying like, "Oh wow, Kudo, that girl is so cute," and a lot of positive things about both girls, but a lot more positive for Kudo than Machan. And there are these threads that have kind of Otas have taken like a copy paste log of Twitter posts related to the Black Variety show, and they've kind of just listed all the positive reactions that Momusu is getting during the show. So clearly, whatever they're doing on the show, it was working for at least the non-Hello fans. So extending outside, and then all of a sudden after the show, everything kind of turned around, and all of the opinions, all of the kind of critiques, reviews from the same, not all of the same fans, but some of the same AKB fans, as well as other AKB fans who were not mentioned in the previous part where they had positive reviews during the show, all of a sudden came out with these really harsh criticisms of Kudo, mainly criticizing her for her language during the show and her mannerisms and her behavior. So if you watch the show, you'll know that Kudo did not talk in a very idol-like fashion. So her language was very
rough.
rough. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's not bad. It's not particular out of character for Kudo if you know Kudo, but I guess it's not like that like innocent.
It's not
pure,
the cutesy kind.
It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not the cutesy idol image that I guess people have as that stereotype, right? And so all these tweets came out like, oh man, that kid is such a brat, or that kid has no manners, or that kid needs to like be taught a lesson, or like I can't believe Momusu has a girl like that in their group, or like the Momusu right now is so unruly. It's like all these negative things, but based purely on how Kudo is acting. And I mean, most of that Kudo is acting in character to react with that other guy towards the other guy, anyways.
Right.
And so it was really interesting. The threads were comparing all the like during show and post show reactions, and how it had a complete 180 turn for all these negative things that came out. And so for these threads actually focused only on AKB fans only. So we're not counting any of the Hello fans, because obviously they'd be biased towards Kudo and Machan. But so what do you guys think about this? It's pretty funny for the Hello fans, but it seems like the AKB fans are kind of mad that Hello gets any screen time at all.
I don't know why they're complaining.
Trolling.
Yeah, why are they complaining?
I know, but
Yeah, they shouldn't complain.
yeah, it's like
But
a
I don't
rare
think-
chance that Hello gets on screen.
I don't think any girl in AKB actually talks like Kudo does, though.
Well, I mean, if you count,
Not that I noticed anyway.
because I guess if you interpret this as like what's supposed to be a genuine character, then yes. But if you keep in mind that this is meant to be acting because it's a variety show, I would say when AKB does their Majisuka Gakuen drama, it's like the same level of talking,
But that's a drama.
and this is a variety.
Yeah, but who says she's actually acting? Isn't she like this always anyway?
She,
At least to me, like she is like this always.
she doesn't talk like this at fan club.
No, she's not this rough.
She's not this rough in front of the fans. Maybe behind the scenes, I don't know. But never this at this. She's like half of this level in front of fans, not on TV. So it's like So you know that she has that character, or that's part of her natural character, but she was definitely exaggerating it for the show.
Now that's the thing, though. When you're on TV, it goes not only to fans but to the general public, and they have no exposure to your normal characters, so they're gonna think this is how you are.
Right. I mean,
So,
so it's weird for AKB. Like, so I don't know any of the AKB girls, but so Bex, you were saying that none of them actually act like this. They're all cutesy.
Well, I wouldn't say cutesy, but they at least act like an idol.
And so they're never any of like no, but don't you have a couple of like tomboy style ones?
No, no,
Really?
Oh.
no,
Oh.
none, no.
Well, 48
I don't
people,
think
well,
so.
more than 48 people, and none of them are tomboyish? Wow.
I don't follow all of them, obviously.
Oh.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And we don't know, so. But I guess that's interesting. But I guess that does make Kudo stand out. She's the only one who has this type of character now.
Hey, any attention is good attention.
I suppose so.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, to be fair, since we're looking at AKB fans' reaction, you said that they did have some positive things to say about her during the airing of the show,
Yeah.
and then it was afterwards that things turned negative.
Right.
I think since this is all social media, it could be started by a couple of people, and then things snowball to how it turned out. I
That's
don't.
probably the case. Yeah. that
Yeah, I
seems-
don't think it's anything big to worry about.
Yeah, most of it is probably trolls anyway.
Yeah, it's always.
Well, I mean, I don't think any of the girls or the Hello fans care. It's just something funny to see.
probably
But
not.
it's
Yeah.
it's interesting how they would react that way when. Well, I thought that AKB would have someone similar. I imagine all groups have some of the same.
Well, I find it funny
stereotypes.
that already how AKB and their 48 groups dominate all the TV airtime already, and they still take Hello Project as a big threat, even though when they don't really in a sense matter in terms of sales or
Right.
existence compared to the 48 groups. And then whenever Morning Musume would get any screen time, they take it as a big offense or count it as a big deal. It says, "Oh, you're taking away our precious AKB screen time."
That is
Yeah,
really
that-
funny.
It's kind of weird, actually.
They're,
Well, we are talking about the anonymous portion of the internet, so...
well, this part was
I-
actually
yeah.
on Twitter, so
Yeah.
this is actually linked to
You have some identity.
some identity. Yeah.
I guess we should
But it-
feel flattered that the AKB fans still consider Hello Project as a big threat.
Yeah.
But it's also a small portion of the fans, obviously.
But yeah, absolutely.
True, yeah.
Absolutely. They're probably just bored waiting for AK Bingo or
Yeah.
something.
It's on TV!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's what happened with Kurabara last week.
If you haven't seen it, you guys should definitely check it out.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
regardless of how you feel on what happened, it's still a good watch overall. If you just kind of put yourself away from any sort of judgment on what should be the proper thing for idols. Let's move on to our last topic of the day. We have a very interesting interview with Sayu, Fukuchan, and Oda Sakura in the November issue of CD Journal magazine. And in it there's a lot of talk, but the one that we'll focus on for this episode is something specifically concerning, again, Ma-chan and how she kind of needs to grow up. So as we all know, Ma-chan's character, or I guess genuine character, is not... It's very eccentric, and sometimes it can be hard to deal with. And so Sayu and Fukuchan were sharing a story of how this recent concert tour, they were at rehearsal one day, and things weren't going well. The 10th gen kind of hadn't practiced enough or hadn't prepared enough, and they weren't looking too good in the rehearsal studio. And as a result, so Sayu, she's the leader, but she's really not good at scolding or dishing out any sort of punishment or anything like that, or doing anything mean in general to the other girls.
She's too nice.
She is too nice. Reina also does not care enough to do that as well. So,
True,
true.
it's so true.
so as a result, like no one really said anything to the 10th gen, and they just kind of went along their way, not getting what they needed to get down in time for the concert. This got to a point where, on the last day of the rehearsal, the director for the concert tour had to step in and actually scold the 10th gen because he wasn't happy with what he saw from their last rehearsal day. And Sayu took this opportunity, because she's normally not good at scolding, to jump on with the director and then kind of reinforce what was already said to the 10th gen girls. And so this kind of led up to some things, and later that day, Sayu, when they after rehearsal went back home, Sayu stayed up till 3 a.m. to write a pretty long email to all of the 10th gen girls, explaining how serious the situation actually was, and how some things needed to change, and how they need to, in general, be more responsible about the whole Morning Musume business. And so, upon sending this email out at 3 a.m. to all of the 10th gen girls, Ikubo and Daishi sent a response back. It didn't say right away, but actually no. So it did. Okay, so they did respond right away with a also lengthy response back, acknowledging that they understand how severe the situation was and everything that was going on. And society really appreciates that, how the high school girls kind of understood the situation from their maturity. On the next day, so that night she did not get a response from Kudo or Machan. The next day, she talked to Kudo about it, and Kudo didn't know that she actually got email, so I guess she didn't check, or if she did, she ignored it.
Cool.
That's
Cool.
how it goes.
Again, too.
So and Sayu was like, well, she's a kid, what can you do? That's, if she didn't check it at 3 a.m., then
Yeah.
I know. I guess you can't really get too mad about that, but and Sayu herself is not really good at handling those types of confrontation situations anyway, so she kind of let that whole thing slide. But when it came to Machan had actually read the email, did not respond that night, and then the next day when Sayu went to talk to her, Machan said, Michishige-san, that email you sent last night was really funny, and then she started laughing. Just like that. Just like that.
Yeah.
And that really pissed Sayu off, because it was like a serious thing. It was a really, according to her, a rather lengthy email, and Machan seemed to completely miss the whole point, and I guess she thought it was a joke or something. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
And so in talking with this, like, so Sayu and Fuku-chan, Sakura's there too, but she didn't say anything, at least according to the transcript of this interview. And so they just kind of go back and forth of saying how bad this is, and Fuku-chan ends up the conversation with saying how she wishes Ma-chan would just grow up, and it seems to be kind of a big thing holding back Morning Musume at the moment. She's definitely, I don't think Morning Musume has had to deal with a character like her, at least to this level in the past. And it's definitely not a first-time occurrence. This has happened in the past, as been mentioned on several radio shows and blogs, where there has been all of the 10th gen has been penalized for something Ma-chan has done. So it's kind of a reoccurring thing, and
Yeah.
it just kind of it's probably just building up on Sayu as like, how is she going to deal with with Ma-chan?
Question.
Yeah.
How old is Machan?
I don't know,
13?
13?
Enough said.
Yeah, but I mean, they're like, when you look at Sayu, Reina, and Eri when they joined, they were 12 and 13, and they didn't act like this.
That was 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, you look at the other 13-year-olds in Hello Project right now, the most crazy one would be Mei Mei.
Mei.
Even Mei Mei wouldn't go this far.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meme's 14 nearly.
Okay, yeah, just
She's older.
So you're
Extra
saying,
year
you're
of
saying
wisdom.
Give Machan 1 year to get better, and if she doesn't, then we get to be mad at her.
But not every person is the same. I mean,
True.
one person grows up a lot quicker than the other does. So
Yeah, but Matan's been in the group for a year now, and she's still acting like she's not before she joined.
She's just a bit dippy, that's all.
I would say a bit is an understatement.
It's part of her
That's
charm.
one of the things. Like, it's okay to be dippy as like, this is my personality and this is what I get to show you. It's another thing to be dippy for work.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, we're talking about like her concert performance scheduling, you know, that behind the scenes stuff. They're supposed to have down pat so that they can show their personality other times. Work.
Well, to be fair, the management does encourage the girls to keep their sense of I guess youngness, we say, to keep their own character and to be themselves. But then at the same time, like you said, if this is for work, then you have to. There's a certain level of expectation to be met, and not just fool around. Like we previously has said that it's not the first time that this kind of thing happened. With the last major one was during the Stacy's musical.
Right.
Lena said that the day or 1 day or 2 days before the first show, Majan was not even ready for singing other songs in the musical, and it wasn't after yelling at her or they tried to yell at her that she finally got it down. So her sense of responsibility is not there.
whose fault is that though? It's not Machan's fault because they allow young girls to be into Morning Suma.
Well,
But the other
girls
young
are
girls
fine.
don't act like this.
That's what I said. Every girl is different. Every person is different.
Yeah, but this is.
They could have seen this in the audition.
I guess, but this is
I don't know if they could have
professional
seen that
work.
in the audition. I mean, this is a long-standing thing rather than a small.
This is not
short-
some local, small-time underground idol group. This is pretty high up there, major professional work. There's at least some level that they're expected of, and I think the other people working with her are not happy that she's not taking this seriously, or they expect her to be more serious about the work. Then, what you see the backstage footage and stuff, you see her, she's just running around. She doesn't think it's anything. That's what pissing people off.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I think it's hard to be too mad at Machan because they take into account her age. But I think it's more of like people are just feel really bad for Sayu who has to deal with this, and the group as a whole. When you see like one person's kind of not prepared, not as prepared as everyone else, or like it doesn't even have to be Sayu. It could be whoever is the eldest in the situation. Like you said, Reina in the Stacy's thing.
Yeah.
And so it's not like we're singling out Machan specifically, but it's just it makes it hard for the group in general to operate smoothly.
I'm not saying that she can't act her age. It's just there's a time and place to do it, and when there's a time for work, she signed on to be in a professional idol group, then she has to do what is expected of her when it's work time, and then when they're standing around doing nothing or waiting for the show to start, then she can be all stupid or whatever she wants to do, right?
Right. I mean, because when it comes down to it, she's still getting paid to do everything that she's doing right now.
Yeah, and it's not that she's doing it herself. She's in a group, so she's dragging people down with her.
It does
That's-
affect other people.
Yeah, that's what people are upset about. But then they can't really do too much about it since they still consider her an amateur.
Right. And I mean, it seems like Fuku-chan is taking this pretty seriously as well. At least almost as seriously as Sayu is, according to this interview. So, I mean, it goes beyond just even the oldest senpais having to deal with this. Like Fuku-chan's already looking ahead, and like, how is she going to have to deal with Machan in the future? If this keeps up. Any other thoughts about Machan?
Well, not about Machan in particular, but this whole whining about Machan kind of is weird in my opinion. They should, to be fairly honest, whine about Suki because she's no. I mean, Suki's fat. Everybody sees that,
Okay.
and you're an idol, so you have an image to uphold. But clearly, they're not caring about Suki being fat in Morning Musume.
I wonder if it's her own will, not or her own standards, or the management not being too strict about it. Say with mileage, recently we've heard that Kanana was told earlier in the year to lose weight, and she did. I wonder if they would apply the same thing to Morning Musume, or they don't find it to be a matter anyways.
Same thing for
How is it not a matter?
for for Fukuda. She also went on her diet, but I think she went herself on her own will, because she wasn't too fat yet.
No.
But also
I guess,
Mizuki too. She also went on a diet, like a preemptive one before she
Mhm.
would get too chubby as well. Yeah, I'm not really sure about Zuki.
So
Just
it's
have
hard
it
to
up
say.
to be a consistent problem. It's like Mahjong maturities and her weight. You know, there are issues that might be handled from here on in. It's gonna
I
work.
had no idea what he's saying.
I also have
Sounds
no
like a
idea what you
robot.
said. You're
Sorry.
breaking up.
Yeah, sorry, internet.
Try
You
again.
guys hear me now? Right now? Yeah.
Yes.
My basic point is just that if it's an existing problem, then we know whether or not they're handling it from here. If they publicly addressed the Machan problem, could be that first step to trying to get everybody on money, including things like if you feel Suki's weight is a problem, which most people do. You know, getting that under control, making sure that the people listen to Sayu might be an issue, depending on how long they expect Sayu to be there. I don't know.
Okay. So
It's more like this is the time that the problem might happen because a lot of these magazine articles are coming out now where they're talking about issues they've had in the past, issues that they're having now, and all of this kind of drama sense.
right.
So, if anything, this is from this point forward, since the magazine article did come out, is the point where if anything's going to happen, it'll happen now, that they can actually talk about it later, and it's good for business and good for the company as a whole, you know?
So then this is, I mean, the fact that they are bringing it up in this interview is more like it's already an
Happening.
issue that's been taken
Yeah.
care of or in the process.
I would
But at
love
least-
to think that.
at least they-
We're not going to
well, yeah.
know until we see it, but yeah.
Right.
It makes them look better that way to say, like, oh, you know, we had this problem, we were complaining, and look, it's fixed now. Like, alright.
Well, at least they know about it,
Yeah.
or they see it as a problem.
It makes sense that you would bring it up after you've taken care of it, but it doesn't seem like, because they mentioned, I mean, the thing with Machan has existed as of recently as of this recent concert tour, because of the rehearsals, timing wise. So this issue is at least still 1 to 2 months ago, has still been around, and I imagine for Machan it's not something that 1 to 2 months of anything can fix.
True. Well, it's also publicity in a sense where the stuff going on, then you kind of want to be like, well, did it get better? Maybe we should go to a concert, kind of a thing.
Maybe.
I mean, that's a little bit of a weak thing, but it's there, kind of. I don't know. That's me.
I mean, to be fair, we can't blame it all on Mahjong.
Yeah, we can't.
Well, we can. Yeah, it's all how the whole company and the group works, and I think it all trickles down back to how back to this at home Musume thing.
Right.
How it's all so relaxed, and maybe to Mahjong, whose maturity is not as high as some of the other members, think that it's all right to be so slack.
Right.
So
And that's probably why, like, Sayugaki wanted to switch back to the traditional style. So at least if they had to scold someone, they can just be like, you know, that's how the system is. It's not like I want to do it.
yeah,
So they
but
kinda-
then Sayu's too nice to
yeah,
actually enforce it.
yeah,
So
it is kind of rough. The only thing I would say that's, I guess, a positive point out of this situation is that at least Machan, like on the immature side, is on the harmless side. of the immature side, as opposed to like an aggressive, bratty kid like Tsujikawa was back in their day. Because they made a lot of the older senpais cry with all the stuff that they did, and as far as we know, I don't think Machan is like that. She's more of just like the space.
She knows when to
ditzy.
stop.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think she does anything mean. I think she just spaces.
She
out.
she has totally like no clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
As if she's like IQ 0 almost.
Kind of.
Well, she just thinks everything's a game.
Right. But I mean, I wonder if that's harder to work with than someone who's like aggressively offensive. Because at least for that case, if you scold them, you probably don't feel as bad as like scolding Machan who doesn't quite get it still.
Probably, yeah.
Or
I guess that's why they're not. Yeah, they're not scolding her. That's
it's kind of
they
hard
feel
to do
bad.
it, right?
Yeah, they feel bad doing it. Yeah.
I don't know. It's really an interesting thing. And so to go back to the Suzuki thing, actually, as far as we know, management hasn't brought it up, right? And none of the
Not
girls-
that we've heard.
Not that we've heard of, right? And so actually, it sounds like we may be picking on her on an old issue, but as of recently, actually, of 1 or 2 weeks ago, there have been several threads on Nichan talking about this issue still, and they're like, okay, so clearly Suki is no longer the same physique as she was when she joined 2 years ago. Does management know about this? And if not, should we tell her? And this is not a troll thread. It's actually like serious. Like, what do we do? Like, it seems like
people
she just
people want her to succeed.
yeah. I mean, they do want her to succeed. Especially the Suki fans. Like, she was really cute at the very beginning when she joined, and it's just like to see her transformation of the past 2 years. It's kind of sad.
It's like she's given up.
I don't know. I don't think she's given up. But
No, well, not in that sense of giving up as an idol, but
oh, of like trying to lose weight or something.
or not exactly, but as in, well, she's no longer the youngest member, and then the focus been shifted away from her. So I don't. It's like she's not really trying anymore. Kind of.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, like, I still think if she just cuts down just a little bit, then she still has like a great personality that she can work with. Like all of the older senpais are saying how she's really great in any concert MC or anything.
She has a lot of good. It's just
just one big thing holding her back. But so let's like open this hypothetical also, as well as to the listeners out there. Like, would you tell her, or should we tell her?
I would.
Because at this point, I mean, she probably knows just out of
If she doesn't know, that's totally weird.
that it's kind of weird. So I imagine she does, and I would imagine the other girls would tell her too. At least I know Reina would tell her. I don't know about
Rena
Sayu.
probably would, yeah.
Yeah.
The others probably won't. They probably find it like all sad and all if they do.
Yeah.
And how
I
would
kinda
you tell
imagine
her?
It would come up even in business practice, though. I mean, like when they're getting fitted for their outfits and stuff, it would start to be an issue.
I'm sure she knows when she gets the longer skirt or her outfit covers the stomach when everybody's
Yeah, look,
showing
I
it.
mean, the hello, that's got to be the most obvious thing ever.
Everybody's in bikinis and she has a tank top, you know.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to somebody who was stating about that picture, apparently the girls are given the money to buy their own outfits, and they choose what the outfits they're going to buy. And her parents.
I would like to know the source of that.
Yeah, I would as well. But apparently, her parents have told her to get midriff covering stuff.
I doubt that, to be honest.
Maybe that's
I'm
from
pretty
her
sure.
blog. I don't know.
There was some kind of source originally, but
Is it?
I'd have to troll through a few things to find it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, well, if her parents are telling that to her, then they are certainly aware. So she must.
Yeah,
be.
and clearly are not
You think
doing
just
anything
people
about
are
it
just
either.
too passive to want to tell her?
Well,
about
it's
it?
really a sensitive situation. I don't really know. But so back to the thing, the fans, they were talking about it. If they were to tell her, it would be at a handshake, and they would just kind of mention it. I don't know what they would say, but
Wait, how would you mention that? That's very sensitive topic.
I don't
Topic
know.
to say.
But at the same time, like if you don't say, if there's no intervention, then she's just gonna keep going. At this
Well, I'm
rate.
sure she knows. It's just if she's gonna do anything about, or if she thinks that's big enough of a problem. Or...
But then, like, when a fan tells you that, that might be like the tipping point of like when she starts to take it seriously or something.
I guess, but how are you gonna say it to her?
I don't know.
But that's the problem I think everybody has, right?
Yeah.
We're just kind of all sitting here going, do we tell her?
It's
How
like,
do
what do we
tell
do?
her?
Yeah, so I mean, that's what they've been discussing in this thread, the couple of threads. Like, what exactly do we do?
Well, maybe you just have to be rude for once
But then
in
you
your
don't.
life.
You don't. Well, you don't. That's the thing, though. The fans, when you go up to meet the girls, you don't want to leave a bad impression.
Yeah, it's really hard.
No, but you know, if then someday she might succeed and she's actually slim again,
Mhm.
she succeeds as an idol, she might actually thank you.
Probably won't remember you.
Yeah.
Probably not, but you know the idea behind it, if you know what I mean.
I mean, that's a good idea.
Well, it's just somebody needs to be willing at some point to be the bad guy, I think, and nobody really wants to because these are the people that they admire.
Right.
You know, it's really hard to say like, you know, I have to be I have to scold you, but I don't want to because I really like you, kind of a thing. And that's
Well,
which
to be
problem
fairly
everybody
honest,
has.
to be fairly honest, at the moment I don't admire Suki.
Then you should be the one to go do it.
I
We
would.
start a fundraiser, get you money, have you go down there.
Okay, let's do it.
But I wonder
The
if
problem is,
that's...
is she gonna listen?
Well, I'm sure she would if you can just like fake to be a fan while you're telling her. I mean, if you look like you absolutely have no interest, then she probably would
True.
listen to you.
Yeah.
Probably not.
So yeah. Well, I mean, if you like, maybe if you bought a Zuki shirt just to wear for the handshake. And you-
So we're talking about like some secret mission kind of crap, man. Like you pretend to be a Zuki fan, you infiltrate like a handshake event.
Oh man.
I don't know. It's such an awkward
It's
situation.
a hard topic. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a hard thing to deal with. It is.
To be fairly honest, the management should have said something a long time ago. It should have actually helped her,
Yeah.
including Tsunku.
I imagine. I mean, because like Turbos was saying, they did preemptively go up on Smileage for this.
Hmm.
They might have they probably did at the very beginning.
You mean I stopped caring?
I don't know. Or
Maybe they thought
just-
like once was enough, and they didn't bring it up again.
I don't know.
Well, the thing is how they're now they have 10th and 11th gems, and then she's gradually losing focus. Well, yeah, she's always pushed it back. Maybe they don't care enough to like
But we're still
stress so much
talking-
about it.
We're still talking Morning Musume image here as well.
Yeah, I mean, like she may be pushed to the back, but there are not that many girls total, so you still see her, and that does affect like what Bex was saying, the image of the group as a whole. Because when you watch, when Momusu ever gets a spot on a national televised show,
Mhm.
like a big ride or something,
Yeah.
the non-hello boards, the generic TV boards of Nichan are always like, oh, it's that fat girl.
Yeah.
And that's not even attempt to be a troll. That's just what they refer to her as.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it really comes down to herself to actually do something. We can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean we can't, but I don't know.
I think it comes down 100% to management, to be fairly honest.
And they should force her to do it.
They should force her to do it. Or take measures. I mean, they want to keep their image, right? That's what I would do anyway if I was the boss.
But then how do you enforce that? Like, what if she doesn't? Would you just kick her out?
Ah, she signed the contract, didn't she?
Yeah.
Pretty sure you can force stuff like that.
But I don't think there's a contract where you have to like not be fat.
Well, the thing now is management seems like they don't care.
A lot of the managers have seemed to be quite slacking as of late. Yeah.
They don't do anything about it. It's just like it's a failure to keep everything in check. Not just with this Suki problem with 10th gen not up to par.
Right.
It's just the whole thing. I think they're too into their current success right now. They think everything's happy-go-lucky, and when it all goes back downhill again, then it's too late.
And personally, I think again it's from the at-home thing where it's like they shouldn't say anything because that ruins the atmosphere of whatever going on in the
Well,
group.
the at-home thing is within the members themselves, though. But does it spread to management or the managers or even the whole company as to how the group is being managed?
Well, so like one incident with Machan when she did something bad and all of 10th Gen got punished in Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
and they had kind of like a timeout for one night where they couldn't go out and sightsee with the rest of the girls.
Mhm.
They spent that night with their managers, and they had a mini party in the room. So the manager, even though they were being punished, the manager was like having fun with them.
So,
Good
That
punishment.
wasn't a good job.
so that's
I mean,
not
that
even
was-
punishment.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
punished. They didn't learn anything from it other than they didn't get to go sightseeing for that day.
Just isn't that big of a deal because they go. Yeah, that's not good. That's definitely
That's
not
all, well, that's all. That has to relate how they have what like we mentioned earlier in the show how the managers get switched out a lot,
They do,
and
yeah.
a lot of times the managers are younger than some of the oldest member in the group, and they have less experience in the field.
Right, right.
So they're like newly hired managers, and they do their job, but they don't know how everything else would affect the outcome of the group or how they're being managed.
Well, then there's only one idea left, and that's the same thing Tsunku did with Smilets, live on television. Just
Or
say
YouTube.
what they need to change, or YouTube, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. I mean, that gets a lot of fans angry about it, but then
Mhm.
I don't think too many fans can actually disagree with
Contest it,
Tsunku.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not counting all the foreign fans who don't actually know anything and they just think Tsunku's being stupid, but like,
Well,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, bringing up Smileage, I think on the whole maturity level, even though Smileage, you look at them, they're all like going crazy all the time.
Right.
I think on the whole, compared to 9th Gen, 10th Gen, I think Smileage are really more professional when it comes to work time.
Yeah, I think so too. But I
So,
think they
yeah.
have to be because they know that their group isn't as successful right now. I mean, like, I
So-
think they keep getting drilled into them like we're failing as a group. They
Then
get- I mean, they have
that
image.
goes back to my point before how Morning Musume's recent success has gone in over their heads.
Right.
So I think that's not a good thing. In
No,
in the long
there's a different kind of issue with that too, in the sense that for Smileage, if you look at it the way that you're supposed to look at Smileage and the way that you're supposed to look at Morning Musume, Smileage 2nd Gen kind of overpowered the original Smileage at this point, member-wise. And you're supposed to see Morning Musume as, Reina and Sayu, 9th Gen, 10th Gen, but for 10th Gen, a lot of the times they do that whole we're 9th and 10th together thing. So it gives that sense that there is an overpowering and an underpowering at the same time, that conflict of like, are we one group? Are we not one group? Are we, So when the problems come up, it's like we want to focus on this one person. But again, that thing where if you want to punish Machan, you end up punishing all of 10th Gen, kind of starts to get fuzzy in how you do it. And especially if the managers right now are trying to be more like the fun parent rather than the strict manager, then you're going to get that problem all over the place.
Right. That's a really tricky situation.
So it comes down to not just one thing
Right.
that needs to be changed. It's the whole
Right.
the whole thing, pretty much.
If the managers listen to this, which I doubt they do,
I bet Esto is listening to this while she's eating.
But-
In
In
Korean
Shinokubo.
barbecue
Shinokubo.
and
Korean
That's not
barbecue.
helpful.
Yeah.
not helpful at all.
Or was we able to find the source for that? The Zuki thing?
The source seems to be somebody's Tumblr. So
Oh, great.
never
So
mind. Right.
it's kind of, yeah.
but it does say in one of many Hello Project TV shows, Zuki mentioned that for Hello Hello the girls buy the swimsuits themselves. So Zuki commented on one of the HP TV shows apparently.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, so we'll keep that comment in mind, I
He
guess.
now just have to troll through every single last HP TV show that Zuki's been on.
Right.
Well, that's very odd then, because every Hello you see the so-called chubby fat girls with the what do they call them?
Coverings.
Tank tops.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
so
cover
that
it.
would be pretty odd.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it does say, I mean, the first comment is, says, apart from Suzuki, open bracket, whose parents have requested that she not be dressed in too revealing clothing, asterisk. And the asterisk says, hats off to Hello Project for giving that opinion, since I know of plenty of companies who would just expect the talent's parents to fall into line. So again, unless she said that herself, and there's no obvious, definite source for the show, doesn't say, which is annoying, because I could have done with finding out.
I guess we'll have to track that down, whichever. Or if the listeners know which show you're referring to, please let us know so we can watch the show and find out what she actually said.
We also need to stop the show now.
That is true.
Yeah, we're running almost long.
Viz, do you want to take over from here?
Sure, I will take over and do what I do all the time. I don't know if it's best, but we'll go through it the way that we can. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying today's episode. This is episode 44 of Konya. I almost said Research on Peace, didn't I? It's been 2 weeks, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a while. But if you guys don't know who we are because you're watching this on our YouTube channel or from iTunes, we run the website takamaruyo.net where you can find information on HP news, HP topics. Usually we do reviews, things like that. We'll do small translations and things like that. So this past 2 weeks we've had a couple of things going on. We haven't been on the air, so we've got an old report from July 25th that Sanrio had to finish, which is up. If you guys need to know how events go, you guys can read his reports, get a first-hand account of how that is. As always, we've got our second show, Talk About a Hatana, where we talk about all the trolls, the fun stuff, the weird things that you find on the internet in terms of Hello Pro topics, or in comparison AKB topics to Hello Pro topics, kind of things like that. We've got those going on. Recently, we came out with the second gen report for Smilage. So if you guys want to know what we think about how they've improved over the year, how things are going, I think we grade them on everything except acting, because we've never seen them act, really.
Yeah, we skipped that one.
Yeah, you can go ahead and check that out, though. See, the opinions. Give your own opinions. We're always looking for people's feedback. So it's a wonderful kind of a thing that you can come down. If you don't like what we talk about, you can explain why. We always appreciate feedback, but we kind of want to know why. Trolling is trolling, and we kind of just go whatever with that. So if you want to be heard, explanations. As always, when there's time, there is a Radio Fridays where we kind of, S-Ferris will summarize the greatest things that you could have heard on the radio in Japan. Anything of important note that you wanted to bring up this week?
I did the 15th anniversary special radio show, and it had a lot of good background stories. Some of the stuff that's actually new to me as well, so check that part out. It's quite long, but it's a good read.
Okay. So you guys can always check that out on our website, again, takamaruyo.net, where you'll find everything that you need. Comments go, in any article, you can leave a comment. You can also drop us words in our forum, which is forum.takamaruyo.net. Sign up, talk about anything that you want that's within the realm of HP, and we've got a couple side things, but you're always welcome to check that out. Also, on our YouTube channel, if you're not on our YouTube channel, which is user Konya TKMR, we've got another episode of Legend of the Five Rings.
Yay!
Where you get to see...
I'm being very boss.
Yeah, where you get to see the great, DMing of S-Ferris here as he takes a bunch of Takamaruyo members through a daring paper and pencil adventure virtually on the internet. So go ahead and check that out if that's interesting to you. Again, that's YouTube channel user Konya TKMR, where you can also find VOD copies of episodes of Konya mo Takamaruyo if this is your first episode. If you want to drop us a line real quick, we have a Twitter that's also Konya TKMR on Twitter. And you're welcome to contact us by email, which is sanrio@takamaruyo.net. Because
we're starting to get emails now, so
yeah.
We're making a breakthrough.
So hopefully everybody's... Yeah. Year 2012, the year of emails? That's Takamaruyo emails. Well, hopefully everybody's enjoyed this. Again, this is episode 44. This was October 27th if you're not in Japan. So again, happy Kudo Day, everybody.
Yay.
And... Yay! Go do something kudo-ish for your day. But this was for S-Ferris, Ouroboros, Turbos86, and Bex. This was Invis saying bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.